So around the same time, because this was now when I'd stepped out of corporate to do my own thing, and I wanted to focus on 4 areas. So I wanted to focus on media, music, entertainment, and sports. And I'll explain to you why sports was key for me, is still key for me. Around when I was quitting my job, I kept on saying that I want to go and do my own passion projects. So then I watched something on CNN, and it's a segment on CNN. I can't quite remember what the specific segment was, but this segment was called Passion to Portfolio. So I created my mantra based on that. So my mantra being passion, play, portfolio. So basically indulging in your passion and turning it into income generating, which is now what I wanted to do. So I wanted to do that around media, music, entertainment, and then at some point in my, and I think maybe because of doing Coca-Cola and Airtel Rising Stars, I got drawn into the world of football.
Yep. That's when you even fell in love with Chelsea.
Yes. Now, someone asked me a few years back, why Chelsea? So let me explain why Chelsea. Imagine it has nothing to do with that how they play and what. No. So when I started watching football, I started questioning, like, I think I watched a particular game by mistake, and I started questioning some things. So for example, I started looking at, when you're watching English Premier League on the screen, at some point the brand Hublot comes on, the watch, whatever. Then you see that time you'd see Barclays, then you see other sponsors, then you start noticing each team has a main sponsor, then they have, so you start understanding. So I started understanding the money around sports.
The business of sports.
So actually, was it in 2003? No, I can't remember what the year was, but the year that Abramovich bought Chelsea. I asked myself,
why is this Russian guy?
Exactly. That was my question.
Buying a British team.
Yes. So that became my interest.
I get it.
So when I started trying to understand the business of sports, Chelsea became my case study. So I'd try to understand everything based on Chelsea. So I did a deep dive on Chelsea just to understand the money flowing out, understanding even now the looking at the most valuable sports, because there is NFL, there is NHL, there is NBA, and then I can't remember the fourth one. But anyway, NBA ranks among the top, I think it's 3rd or 4th.
Yeah.
Then also understanding the difference between NBA and EPL. Understanding things like salary caps.
Yep. It's like F1 right now. It's like I do that. The understanding the new regulations that have come in and what that does in terms of a spending cap that they've done and now that thing.
So like for me, I was very fascinated. Like I used to wonder why teams have caps on how much they can spend, and I read the backstory, and like let me just try and explain it quickly. The English Premier League is a private league. Like it's not like a government league. It's a private league. Now there are regulations that run the league. It's a company on its own. It's a private company on its own, with shareholding of the 20 teams that are in the league at that point. Now, when you look at and this information by the way is publicly available.
Yeah.
When you go to the English Premier League website and then you go to the bottom, you can see the reports from the previous years. If you download it, just like one of them, it will give you a breakdown of the previous league, like a report of the everything.
Spending,
down to
TV rights, all of those things.
And down to how the money was split. So they split the money 4 ways between the teams. So, no, 3 ways actually. So there's 50% of all the broadcast fees collected is split equally between the 20 teams.
Equally?
Yes. And then 25% of it is given based on
ranking.
They call it ranking is the third one. So the second one is what they call I think they call it facility fees. So the fees they collect from broadcast are from different stations. Different stations look at the schedule of the season. Then they say, we want to pay for this game and this game and this game. So depending on how many of your games as a team have been picked, the more your games are picked, the higher your facility fee.
I get.
And then now the third one is the ranking. What this does is, because 50% has been divided equally, it ensures that the number 1 team and number 20 team are not very far off in terms of what they make from the league. But you know the importance of that? The bottom 5 teams,
they keep changing. They are relegated. A guy comes from Division 1.
Plus, if these guys don't have chums, the league won't exist. So as much as you're number 1, you need number 17, 18, 19, 20 to still exist as entities for the league to actually exist. Because without that, then I learned, like in the NBA, there's a certain way they do their accounts. All the money, I don't know if it's the gross profit, is put together in a pool and divided equally across all the teams. So if your team made 100 million and I made 10 million, we put it together, it's 110 million, take 55, I take 55.
No way.
You support me because without me, there's no you.
I didn't know that. That's
there's
crazy.
a lesson there we can learn as human beings.
Yeah, but that's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, but people have to note this is without sponsorship, because sponsorship is
separate.
It's a whole other making money.
Teams have different sponsors.
Of course.
Teams have different sponsors. Yeah. Teams have their own like merchandise revenue and things like that.
And a lot of that is based on your ranking.
Yes.
So the better you play and the better you perform,
yes,
the higher you can.
Yes.
But I like the fairness that this other side has.
Yes. Because that fairness is necessary for all
Survival.
of you to survive.
The number 20, you need him. Who are you going to beat?
Yes.
He's not there.
Yeah. And you need to give him psych also.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what was this doing for you?
So it got me interested in sports, because also through my working on Coca-Cola initially, then Airtel Rising Stars, then back to Coca-Cola, I could see. And it's still there even when you look at Chapadimba, Safaricom doing Chapadimba, you'd see the whatever, what's it called? The talent with teams, with kids. But there's that pain of, and then what for these kids? Because beyond, there's nothing for them. Because unless now they get into the Gor Mahia, AFC, Sofapaka. I mean, there's some of these teams that are really trying. There's some of them that are really trying. But there's a kid talented from St. Mary's. Do you think he'll want to join Gor Mahia?
There's no way.
But we need to get to a level where he'll want to join Gor Mahia in terms of a top-tier club in the country. There needs to be systems, and I think the guy of Mathare...
Is it systems that lack, or is it corruption that ails the system?
Corruption ails the system. Because look at kina Oliech, kina Wanyama. We need to have more of those. So what is it that needs to be done down here to ensure that we have more of those?
Side note, you've made me. I actually part of the people I want to interview in CTA this year are people in sports. So I'm gonna go to Eldoret and sit down even with footballers, so that you can find out from them, a rugby player, why is this sports industry not where it should be, even at what we're best in the world at?
Can I give you a challenge? And this I know will benefit you, but also I'm asking for me.
Like
one guy who you actually two people you'd want to talk to. There's a lady called Cynthia Mumbo. She's like a dawn in basketball in Kenya. She even ran for Kenya Basketball Federation chair last year elections. She didn't make it, but I think she was number 2. But she's like well known in sports, and she's all about sports. She's all about basketball. Like she's the go-to person when FIBA come into Kenya.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. The second person is, I think his name is Nathan, Gina's son.
Gina Dean's son.
Yes.
I know that.
Because he's studying sports.
Yep. And he's got a couple of degrees in these things. He's done. I'm going to interview that whole family.
So maybe find out why.
Yeah.
Why he went into that. Maybe he's looking at working in the international field.
Yeah. You know that guy has interned for Toronto Raptors. He knows all 90% of the African NBA players in this country. I mean, in Africa, not the country. He's I really like what you're saying. But I also want to go and speak to like Kipchoge Keino. You know the ICC. I mean what's it called? Is it the International Olympics Committee? Yes.
IOC.
Those guys have made it in. Even our rugby player has been put into that.
He's been inducted into the Hall of Fame.
That is such a huge thing.
It is.
Tennis-wise, we just had our first player make it to the third round of Australian Open. Junior, yes. But then that's somebody who with support can go and become a Serena. So I'm very interested in these sports. We are so good at what we do. Why aren't we? I mean, look at under 159, was it?
Yeah.
Look at that. Globally, what is preventing us? I'll even at a rally. Look, Anthony Wahome's son. Look at him right now.
Yeah.
That guy was going to be in F1. He's actually started in F3 in Dubai. So I'm very interested in having conversations with people who are in the sports space.
Yeah.
So
the interest for me. So what I've done is, or rather what I'm doing is, I picked basketball as the sport that I want to get into, and I'm hoping that I'll be able to get into it this year. I've been working on stuff around basketball since 2009-10, because I remember having a meeting with Hussein Mohammed. Maybe that's another person you didn't talk to. Big Ted, Big Kev, and KJ, and Roy Karuhize and Styles. I remember having a meeting with them at Galileo, not the Galileo on Wayakiwe. Galileo when it was in that other building
where Patney's.
Yes, the one that it's been brought down, right?
It's been brought down.
Yeah.
Museum.
Yes, I remember having a meeting with them there and telling them about this dream that I have of basketball, and I was borrowing also largely from Hussein Mohammed because he had done extreme sports. Because Hussein Mohammed was I think what Hussein Mohammed had started doing is what I want to do, but I've also been meaning to reach out to him to ask him where and why did you stop? Because I know he got a lot of resistance. Yeah, and I already know some of the things that made him stop, and I know how to overcome them.
Okay.
But I still want to be able to have that conversation. But anyway, I was just explaining to you why sports.
So did you ever get into sports? Currently you've not managed anyone in sports?
No. But it's not. I don't want to manage. So let me tell you, I have this ambitious plan. I want to create a private independent basketball league in Kenya.
What?
Yes. And it's something that I've been crafting. I've been talking to people about it. Every time we want to try and start it, something happens and we have to, but I always look at it as redirection.
Uh-huh.
So now I've gotten to the level where, have you seen what Ice Cube is doing with 3-on-3? Ice Cube has his own league, that is a 3-on-3 league.
No way.
Yes, it's called the Big Three.
So you're talking about like what Chapadimba?
Yeah.
You want to create your own?
Yes, but for an older crowd. Like Richie, if you play basketball with your boys over the weekend, and to create a tournament where you can compete with other guys. It's that simple. But what I want to do is I want to introduce commercialization of that, just so that we can build it, and maybe by the time our time on earth is done, we'll have left a template that other people can build on, and it becomes a career choice.
Over the holidays, over December, and I'll strongly advise you to go and watch this. I watched a documentary, an American documentary. I love documentaries. Yeah, in fact, that's what I watch. And it was a documentary about a manager, an American US manager, forgotten his name, who manages guys who are about to enter the draft and enter the NBA league. It was phenomenal what those guys go through. So it was, and he's the business guy. So you're seeing the mindset, because you're going for the draft and not sure if you're going to be picked. It's not guaranteed. So it's this one. I've forgotten the name, but it's this one on the screen right now. Strongly advise you to watch it. There's
a talk that a ministry official gave at a function sometime last year, and he was talking about the importance of sports in the curriculum, and he said sports has the ability to create a minimum of 160 jobs. When you look at the ecosystem of sports, because you see, we see the players, but again, back to Chelsea. There was a very famous team doctor in Chelsea called Dr. Eva. like she was hot, so of course people used to,
There's a Kenyan who's the cook for, is it Arsenal or something?
Arsenal, yeah. So it's about seeing, and of course it's not just her. There's a lot of people under her, because under her, there are all these people who have to understand the dietary needs of each of the team members.
Oh, that's crazy.
There's all the team doctors. There's like I was shocked to find out there's a goalkeeper coach. Separate from the normal coach, there's a goalkeeper coach. Like him, his work is just to coach the goalkeeper. He doesn't care about all these other people,
But and when you talk about 150 jobs, you're talking about positions, and that position can have another 30
the
jobs.
Assistants, and all that. Then think of the support staff of all these people, even down to their drivers. So can you imagine if you create a huge ecosystem in sports? Those are many jobs.
Okay, just in case somebody's watching this, I'm learned that CTA is a bit powerful in its reach. In case somebody's watching this with your private league that you're trying to create, where are you at as of now?
I'm trying to identify teams. I'm looking for teams that are 19 years and above, Kenyan teams, and I especially want to focus on 3-on-3. So I'm looking for teams of 5 to do a 3-on-3 league.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm hoping that I'll be able to do it maybe second half of the year.
Okay, so you're looking at these teams, of course, having a season where they each play each other, maybe home and away.
Yes.
And then now that leads into maybe a playoff.
Yes.
Where now they go to a championship.
Yes.
If you're going to accomplish that this year, that's a thumbs up.
Yes. And then next year we make it bigger. We make it wider, maybe go even outside of Nairobi.
That sounds very doable.
So let me tell you 2 things that hinder, especially things like basketball in Kenya, even soccer a bit, but the learning from soccer then should be used on basketball, actually even the learning from rugby. When you look around, there are very many basketball courts in the country. Even let's start with Nairobi. There are very many basketball courts. But if you really think about it, all those basketball courts, they don't have infrastructure for an audience. It's only the space for the teams to play. Now, go to rugby. What makes rugby big and what makes sponsors interested is the audience.
The infrastructure for watching.
Yes.
If in Kenya, in fact, when you talk about basketball, I only think of one place.
Nyayo.
Yeah.
And Nyayo has an issue. Like it really can't host international games. You know that, right? You know that, right?
No, I didn't know that.
And you know why?
Why?
Because someone ate the money to build the proper nini. You know the story of Mombasa Road? How when Mombasa Road was being built? How wide is a road?
Just tell me
So
the story.
so let's assume a road is 10 meters wide. Let's assume. Now, the story goes that when those guys were building, see, then you quote for materials for that you need to build the road, the different materials.
Yes.
Now, see, you're quoting also based on size.
Yep.
So you're quoting 10 meters wide. Then someone says, cut a 50 centimeters huko, 50 centimeters huku. So you cut it. So it becomes 9 meters instead of 10 meters. So you've cooled 1 meter for 465 kilometers. How much money is that?
So why are you bringing this in relation to?
Because Nyayo was built smaller than it's supposed to be.
So by international regulations, we can't even legally host.
We have Nyayo. I don't know what the problem is with Kasarani, but we have Nyayo at Kasarani. But Rwanda had to build a whole whatever to host.
Don't even go there. Okay, it's okay.
Yeah. So.
Okay. I've seen.
So that this is my argument for a private league. Like, I don't want to go into the existing teams. Like, I respect the existing teams and the existing league,
but you
and
have to
all,
start from scratch.
But we have to start from scratch, because if you look at even the US, you know, there's a US national league for basketball, but NBA is bigger. It's a private league. It's bigger because they know how to commercialize it.
Yep.
Yeah. Otherwise.
Okay. Hey, this is a rabbit hole I didn't see us going into. So sports is one of your 4 pillars.
Yes.
What are your other?
So media, music, entertainment, and now sports.
Love it.
Yeah.
Hey, Fakii. So are we going to shift back to?
So we shift back to. Oh, yes. Actually, the reason I was going into this was when I talked about media. In 2018, that same year that we talk about going to the US with Nyash, that we talk about this Safaricom thing, because again, I'm still a consultant to Ogopa DJs, a call comes through from Netherlands.
Hold on there. We'll be back. We'll be back. Give it 1 second.